Devil know that you encouraged. Let him know that you encouraged. Let him know. Hallelujah. I don't know about you tonight, but somebody may be crying, but I come to let you know that God can make it all right. Ooh, yes. Be encouraged. Oh, it will. Yeah, yeah. I know right now it's impossible to see, but God is gonna work it out if you just believe. Remember this one thing while you're going through. If God delivered Daniel, guess what? He'll do the same for you. You. Hey, no matter what's going on, said it in His word. draw me close to you. Never let me go. I lay it all down. You say you are my desire. No one else will do. No one else will do. No one else can take your place. No one else can take your place. Help me find my way. Bring me back to you. Bring me back to you. Alone in me. In me. Because I see in notice, and I want you to work in me. I see you working others. I see you working others, and I want you to work in me. Anybody feel like I feel? I see you working, and I want you to work in me. I've seen you heal the sick through others, and I want you to work in me. I said I see you working, and I want you to work. No one else can take, not when I want to feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find my way. Bring me back to you, yeah. I wanna come back to you, Lord, yeah, yeah. Let it be done, Lord. Let it be done in me. Let it be done in me. Because I've seen your work, and I want you to work in me. Say it with me. Say, I see you, and I want you to work in me. Some of you need to close your eyes right now. Talk to the Lord and tell him, I see you, and I want you to work in me. Say it, say it, say it. And I want you to do the same thing. you to work in me. Have your way, have your way in me, Lord. Say the work of the I want you to do tonight. Hey, 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 hey. And I want you to work out me. Hey, family. Yeah. Alrighty. Trying to look at the time. All right, family. Y'all know who this is. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Hey, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. December the 1st. Christmas time is near. Christmas time is near. All enjoy your Christmas time. To some of you, this holiday, but Christmas time is near. Christmas time is near, and here it's not too far. This December the 1st. So Christmas time is near here. And I sent out a message to say, Happy Holidays and a Happy New Year. Happy Holidays. Now I know this is a rough time for a lot of people. You know, not fellowshipping with their loved ones, their relatives, their families. When we used to have like those Easter gatherings, well, not Easter, Thanksgiving and Christmas, holiday seasons, cookouts and all that type of stuff. And for some, not all, time has changed, you know. I was always the cook in our family when it came to times like this, Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know. And then 4th of July, the holidays, stuff like that. I would grill and all this type of stuff, made the regular meals, potato salad, macaroni salad, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes for the holidays, collard greens, pigtails and pig feet and all that back during the days, ham and all that fried chicken, sweet potatoes with with marshmallows. I want to make sure I said marshmallows because last time I said mushrooms and I threw some people off. But I didn't realize I said mushrooms. I thought I was saying marshmallows. All that good stuff that tends to cause you to gain weight and get diabetes and all that type of stuff if you constantly eat like that. And I am a diabetic, and I've been a diabetic for 35 years. And that's not to beat anyone down because of their health or anything. I had to learn to really watch what I eat, watch what I put in me. I used to be over 300 pounds. Today I can say I'm a 200. I'm around 200 now. The goal is to come under the 200, but you can't come under the 200 without exercising and continue eating properly. You get me? So in my case, I don't do a lot of this and stuff like that, which I need to do more of, but I will take a walk, you know, just to walk off the meal, or I walk before the meal. Just all depends on the time frame. But I know it's better to walk after the meal. Now, I was on another platform on TikTok before I came on here. And like I said, it's the holiday season. And a lot of people, this time of the year is really rough for. It's rough. You know, my mother passed away when I was 26. So it's actually been over what, 80? She passed away in 88. So my oldest daughter is 36. She was born in 89. So my mother been gone for like 37 years. And y'all know the holidays don't feel as happiest and joyous as it used to be. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is, you have to make the best out of your time. You get me? I don't like being miserable. Real simple. I do not like being miserable. So what I try to do when I feel like I'm going into that state of wilding out or down and out, self-pity, stuff like that, I have to focus on positive stuff. Because when I find myself going like this, it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Now, mind you, that's called depression too, because we'll get depressed in the here and now about the past. And that's what I started understanding what depression stems from too. Depression stems from us bringing a lot of our past trauma into the here and now. You know, whatever happened 37 years ago, that was 37 years ago. I got clean. It'll be January the 26th, which is next month. I will have 33 years clean. I'm going to say it again. I will have 33 years clean. I am in a 12-step NA program. And if you're struggling with the same stuff that I became addicted to, my goal is to motivate you and encourage you to help you understand that you can, a day at a time, get clean and stay clean a day at a time. That's why I can say a day at a time. I have 32 years, but I'm closer towards 33 now than just the 33 itself, because January the 26th will make 33 years, God's will. I don't have a desire to pick up. I don't have a desire to use. And I thank God that he took away that desire. So for a lot of y'all that don't understand anything about people being caught up, it's an addiction within itself, right? And that person has to recognize how that addiction is destroying their lives, and not just their own lives, but they got to focus on self first. But not just their lives, their loved ones around them too, because they are suffering because they watching you suffering. And be honest with you, it's nothing they can do to really help you. Because you have to become willing to do the necessary work to turn your life around. And I'm telling you on a personal note, this is not for me studying books. This is not for me doing my research. This is from me getting clean, and other people helped me to better understand me by giving me the tools to work inside of self to become a productive member of society today. So when you hear me talk, if you say stuff like, oh, that's his pride, that's his ego, you don't have to put them negative connotations on me. When you go, that's his pride, that's his ego, he think he all that. Yes, he do. Yes, he do. Because at one time, I didn't care less. You get me? So yes, he do today. Yes, he do. It takes a lot of work. So when you verbally, mentally, and emotionally want to abuse somebody by saying those negative things, rather than you looking at a person and saying, wow, I admire his courage, his confidence, and stuff like that, because it took work to get to this point in my life. But see, a lot of y'all, and I know when y'all do it, 9 times out of 10, you're miserable. I already know that. Anytime you take a person like me, who will come on my platforms, and I talk about some of the trauma or some of my life experiences that I went through to get where I'm at today, that means in some sense, a lot of the stuff that I've done as a child, I don't do as an adult, but it took work to get to this point. I'm not saying I didn't do some crazy stuff in my adulthood, but that was growth and error. A lot of times y'all don't understand what trials and tribulations are called. Y'all don't understand what trials and tribulations are called. Trials and tribulations come to make us stronger. So we're not without our mistakes. I don't know what planet y'all live on when y'all think like that. When you can turn around, you might be stuck in a certain area that has nothing to do with the smugs or the drugs, right? You or the heroin. You might not be stuck in that area. You might be drinking. You might be eating. You might be lying. You might be manipulating. And that's a compulsive disease within itself. And a lot of y'all don't realize it. When you feel like you need to go on pages under fake names, you're not really being you. So who you lying to? Now, don't take it directly, because look, what I'm saying out my mouth, everything I'm saying out my mouth, I'm looking back at me. Even though it's coming out my mouth, but I'm looking at me. Because to my own self, I have to be true. It's not to y'all. To my own self, I have to be true. And by me being honest with myself, I don't mind sharing that with other people. Because I'm not the only one in this world, right? That's stuck. Thank you. I'm not the only one in this world that's going through or feeling the way I do. So a lot of times when I share, I don't know who need to hear it. I don't know what country they might be in. I don't know what part of America they might be in. So you never tell somebody, oh, don't say this, don't say that. This is a live broadcast network. I can tell you right now, my TikTok platform is being seen all over the world. My broadcast network, which I'm on my iPad, is streaming to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and two of my Facebook pages. So it's actually streaming to 5 other platforms, and then I'm doing TikTok on my other phone, on my iPhone 15, which I was getting ready to order iPhone 17 for my other phone here. But if I order iPhone 17, then they're going to turn around and make an iPhone 18. And then you're going to want that too. But where I'm going at, family, and when I come on and I talk, and I want to make this real clear, I talk about life experience. I talk about life challenges and I talk about life struggles. So if somebody come up here and say like, you've been great, and that's the word I have to use for TikTok family. If you've been great as a child, or if you've been great as an adolescent, or if you've been great as a teenager, or if you've been great as an adult, we can talk about those things on my platform. If you've been in an abusive relationship, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, we can talk about that on my platform. Some people, you can go on their platforms, and a lot of times you just want to get that mess off of you. I be hearing it. You just need somebody to listen. And sometimes people will attack you. But believe me, anytime somebody attack you because of your story, 9 times out of 10, they hurting from something that they're afraid to talk about that you just spoke on. So what it do, it throws up a flag in them because they haven't dealt with their issues. And I'm telling you this from a man that sponsors men and women to help them put their lives back in order. So in other words, I'm saying, in a sense, I'm considered as a life coach. The goal is to help you turn your life around. I share this every month or every time I come on my live. Anytime you come into my life or anytime you come into my program and you say, Mr. Steve, can you help me? So by this time, your life has become unmanageable and your life has become out of control. Even with your thinking, even with your financing, even with your housing situation. But when you come into my life and you say, Mr. Copeland, can you help me? Basically, you are surrendering the most important thing in your life to Mr. Copeland, and that's your life. I don't play with that. Because I feel like if I play with your life, God gonna punish me for playing with his children. So if you ask me, and I'm saying this for Facebook reference too, no matter what somebody say on the other end, when it comes to Steve Copeland, and if you ask me to help you, I take that very serious and personal. And it's not to rob, steal, and take from you. Wherever you at financially, if you come into my program and say you on SSI, but you want to get a regular type job, the goal is to put you in an apprenticeship program where you will make more than that $900 and something you get each month. If you come into my housing program and you're making $15 an hour and you might have like 5 kids, but you still relying on TCA, right, to help you feed your children or for the medical assistance, the goal is to get you in a career-minded job, a profession, where your company will have those programs right there for you. Come on, I did this as a truck driver. So I was able to put my family on my medical insurance. I was able to get life insurance for all my family members, even my stepchildren, because they was my children and they was added on to my medical assistance stuff. That's when you have a professional type job that has the 401k, that has the retirement plan. Your taxes and your state and your taxes that you work for, that goes into your retirement. It goes into your Medicaid. So when you get to that point, when you're ready to retire, you already put into these programs for your retirement. That's why your 401k there. That's why your retirement plan is there. That's why when you paying state and federal government assistance, well, you know, taxes, right? It goes back into the stuff that you're doing when you get to that age of retirement. So now when you get to that age of retirement, you're on SSDI, not SSI. The ones that's on SSI is considered as disabled, but they can still work a certain amount of hours. Even if you do SSDI, you are retired. That is your money that you put away. So a lot of y'all don't understand how the system works for you as well. So when you working like a McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, those are your low income. They are your regular jobs types. Walmart, all of that. Now, some of them are getting better with adding like Medicaid to it. Maybe the 401 plans. I'm not sure. But anytime you make basically under or the minimum wage, let's do that one. When you're making the minimum wage, a lot of them jobs do not have personal health care benefits for you. Doesn't have the 401k plan for you. Doesn't have the retirement plan for you because they aren't career-minded jobs or professionals. Y'all might call it white collar, call it whatever you want. But when you working at a job where you making 80,000, 100,000, normally the company is going to have a 401k plan for you. They're going to have a retirement plan for you. They might have a program where you get a bonus once or twice a year. It all depends on how they profiting. Because if they profiting, their goal is to give you something back because you are the individuals that's helping them become that millionaire, that billionaire, that trillionaire. You are the one. They're not doing it by themselves. So that's their way of blessing their employees for helping their companies to benefit. Do y'all realize that? And I can only share this with y'all because of what I do. In my case, right, I would have to make enough profit-wise, mainly when it comes to employees. So most of it, for me right now, to be a part of my company, you can be a part of the board. You can volunteer your service. I'm going to give you a little something, something, something. You get me? Even if I can't just give you a salary, say of 40, 50,000 or 60,000, I'm going to give you something just for your time. And once I'm able, say like with the housing portion, and I'm able to get grant money, I can put a salary in for you now. But if you're willing to work, what I mean is volunteer your service to help me with our homeless and less fortunate people, which you're showing me that that's like the kindness out your heart because you're willing to do it without nothing. And most of the people that helps volunteer services like that, they only get around about SSI or retirement money. Whether you're disabled or whatever. I'm just saying, when you can get out and move about a little bit, you just trying to put something in between your time, just to, help you with your time. So that's why you have a lot of people that will volunteer, right, for programs and businesses because they trying to kill time. Oh, forgive me, unalive. I mean, in that sense, not to take a life, right? But they trying to help you, eliminate time. That's why they volunteer their services. And anytime you volunteer your services with me, say like if you're a cosmetologist and you say, Mr. Steve, I want to come and do the women hair at the building, right? Or in the program. I'm like, okay, come on. So I will fix a space for you to come and be able to do the women hair. But guess what? Your regular price might be $40. I'm just using that as an example. But you might say, Mr. Steve, because my thing is, I'll give you $10 or $15 a client just to make sure you have something in your pocket until I'm able to put you on the payroll. But you're volunteering your time. If you say, Mr. Steve, I want to come and teach the women how to keep their cells properly clean, because you're that type of person that helps women, I'm going to say women that has a disregard basically for themselves, their body, their thinking, and stuff like that. And I know that this is professional services that you do, but you're willing to come and help them become proper, rounded women. My thing is, thank you. She said, offer promo. Yeah, thank you. Because basically that's what it is. She said, offering promo bonos. And basically that's what it is. Because I know you serving your time. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of my board members, they are basically, well, a few of my age, right? But they are basically on SSI. And they does stuff in the community. So I know who to call and say, hey, I need you to come and help me here. I get the women that work with the women. If I come to the women, know my power. If I come to the women to talk to you about anything, be honest with you, you screwed up about something. So when I come, if I come to correct you on something, that means you're not doing what you're supposed to do to improve your life. So now, Unc, Big Unc, Dad, Pop, whatever you want to call me, that's what because sometimes I go in my head, I'm like Daddy, right? But I have to realize, Steve, they're not your kids, they're your clients. Because I want the best for them. Don't get it wrong. Mainly our women with children. Because I know it's no man there to help them. So you got to do the work to turn your life around. You know what I mean? And then I get on our brothers for having children, and your butt want to sit up here. You worrying about not child protective service. I'm sorry. You worried about them people collecting your goddamn money. If you taking care of your children, they ain't got to get involved in that. That's common sense. If you doing the right things, if you got 5 children, brothers, if you got 5 children by 5 baby mamas, do you know that's a lot of freaking money? And if you working at a McDonald's or Burger King, thank you, no child support. I was trying to get it out. That's a lot of money. The mother getting a certain amount from TCA to take care of the children that the men neglected. I don't care if you and the mother get along together or not. I don't care. They're your children. That's your seed. That's your plant that she pushed out. So now you water it. Dads, water your seed. Water your seed. You sent the fertilizer. She became pregnant. Now your goal is to make sure you water that plant. But see, y'all got brothers talking about, nah, she done took me down. My ex did that to me too. And I got mad. But guess what I did? I went to child support and I laid child support out. Listen to what I said, brothers. Because I raised her 2 before mine came. I took care of hers just like they was mine. But I wanted child support to know I ain't no sorry excuse of a BLK man. And I went down there and got loud. They was like, well, Mr. Copeland, we understand. But she came here first. So once they kind of explained it to me, I was all right with that. Because now, on top of this too, my brothers, I paid over $1,000 a month in child support for 2 kids. Check it out. I paid over $1,000 a month. Anytime my kids called me and they wanted something, I still gave it to them. And I'm not saying because their mother didn't do what she had to do. She did everything she had to do. That's one thing I could say about her. No, now my power. That's one thing I could say about both of my exes. When it came to our children, we did not play. That money went towards whatever she needed to provide for those guys. I was going to say, goddamn, for our children. And my children know if they call dad and they need like $300, $400, $500, $600, they know to call me at least a couple of weeks in advance. Dad, I'm gonna need such and such and such for this date right here. And I'm gonna tell you what, know my power. I never tell them no. Never tell them no. If they call me today and they need something, they know to call dad way ahead of time. I'm telling you. My son real good for that because his soccer shoes normally run him $300. So he might say like he want to get a new pair for January. He'll let me know now, Dad, I'm gonna need you to help me. And I'll be wanting to say, no, boy, I ain't doing do. I'll be like, okay. But one day, you know, I might be able to say no. But they my kids. And they know when it comes to asking dad for anything financially. Let me put it like that. They know ahead of time. This is the way I raised them. And right to this day, like I said, if they need extra money like that for something, you know, it could be going on a trip, or they might want to take their mother out somewhere real nice. So they might ask for a couple of extra money so they can do what they do. I don't tell them no. Even with my son, with his girlfriend. If him and his girlfriend say like it's his girlfriend's birthday, he's working now, but it's his girlfriend's birthday. And he'd be like, Dad, can you give me $150? I'm like, boy, blah, 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 blah. And I give it to him. I give it to him, know my power, I give it. Because what he's going to do, if her birthday is around the 20th, he's going to let me know now. Dad, can you help me with such and such and such? I don't tell him no. Because I don't want him to feel bad, right? I ain't messing with you, no power. She said, can you be my dad? Know my power. I'm in granddaddy mode now. Guess what? Today is my granddaughter's birthday. She just turned 2. I'm surprised her mother ain't called me yet. I asked her what she gonna do with her, right? She was like, Dad, she said she was gonna just take her out a little bit, right? But her mother and them talking about, you know, throwing something for her. So I don't know. I ain't even call her. I ain't even ask her what's what. I ain't look, no. Yeah, they spoiled. Look, I ain't call her. I ain't ask her what she gonna do. Cause you know what's gonna come behind it, right? I'm all right with it right now, just to call me tomorrow because her birthday is over with. But now they haven't called me yet, so I don't know what she planning on doing with her. But my goal, be honest, say like if they was gonna go to like a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, you got it. Know my power. You got it. Say like if they go to a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, I don't mind showing up. I don't mind, right? But I know when they talk about giving her, and the day is Monday, so when they talk about giving her a party, believe me, it's going to be a party. And my ex-wife, she know how to decorate and everything. She lays it down. So that's what I thought she was getting ready to say. Because her mother and them, you know, her mother, well, besides being Monday, and then not just that, she said, Dad, this is what my daughter said, know my power. She said, I'm not really too concerned about the birthday part of it. She said, I'm more concerned about the Christmas part. I already know that. This little girl got everything anyway, right? If you see her room, you would think like a Beyonce in them. I'm telling you, my daughters, they don't play. They don't play. They don't play. They don't play. And be honest, like Know My Power said, right? Because we spoiled, be honest with y'all, we spoiled our children. And I'm gonna thank God that my exes and I was able to provide a better life for ours compared to mainly the way I grew up. Because I grew up in the streets. And when I say that, I wasn't on no corners. I was putting this stuff out. So I wasn't on the corner. I was a hustler. My family, we hustled. And I don't like to talk about this a lot, right? My mother, seven children. When I was around about maybe 10, 12, she started selling to raise her family. We was one of the biggest weed sellers in Baltimore City. That's how big we got. And it hurts my heart to say that, because I watched what my mother went through to raise her children. And that's why my heart goes out to a lot of the single mothers. My mother had 7 children by 7 different men. Everybody met their fathers but me. My mother taught me at an early age how to be responsible. And I asked my mother, I said, why did you do this? She said, just in case you won't meet a woman that'll take care of you. Basically, I raised my brothers that was older than me, and I raised the youngest one. I remember going to Hagerstown. I remember going to Jessup when I was young to see my brothers. I remember catching them buses and them vans to go see my brothers in prison. I was a young kid. I remember my mother saying that she would let my brothers and them go out there and take from people, right? Because they would bring her money home to feed the family. So I'm sharing this, right, because this is something that I lived through. And I understand why some mothers have to do what they got to do. And I get sick and tired of the men when you want to degrade the women, mainly your baby mothers, when you want to disrespect them and degrade them. And they was woman enough to bear you a child, but you want to talk about them, and you don't want to take care of your responsibilities of that child. Do you know how that makes me feel as a man myself that never grew up with a father? And that little boy inside of me hurts from time to time. And I swore to God, I will never allow my kids to feel no pain like this. So when I hear a lot of y'all brothers want to sit up here and talk that Gucci stuff and want to bash our women, you just take me back to my mother. And I watched my mother working jobs to take care of her children when it got to the point that she had to sell to take care of family. And we became one of the biggest hustlers in Baltimore City doing that. And my goal was to become, in that process, one of the biggest dealers in Baltimore City by the time I turned 26. Come on. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I living like that? I don't glorify that stuff. Don't get it wrong. And we had to protect our children from that nonsense. Because you got the stick-up boys, you got all of these other people, when they know you're doing certain things, they will come for you. They will come for your family. So it got to the point, the way I carried myself, a lot of people knew you did not play with the Copeland family. You did not play with us. Most of all, you did not play with me. So when I hear a lot of guys and you want to try to threaten me, don't do that. Because you never let your left hand know what your right hand planning on doing. That's y'all problem. When it came to me back in the days taking care of business, my brothers always taught me, don't let nobody know what you about to do. So when you run off at your mouth, I know you full of crap. You just talking. Because if you're going to tell me you're going to do something to me, I'm going to just wait for you to come. I'm going to just wait for you to come and do something to me. You already done gave me a warning. Heads up. So I'm just going to, come on. Come on. Come on. That's why I tell a lot of y'all, right, don't play with OG. Because just because a lot of us out of that game and we not doing what we used to do, we still got games. Hello. And if you're in an area where I know you at, I'm going to make a phone call to see, is your bite bigger than your bark? Because that's all you're doing is barking. Is you the type of person that will really carry it out? And if somebody tell me, yeah, they known for that, then hey. So watch your mouth when you talking to an older of a person that used to live like that. The stick-up boys knew not to come in our community. For a lot of y'all to think you gangsters. I was 15 years old. Suppose I went to work. Stayed home. This guy came in there and stuck somebody up in our house. It was a family member. And I ran up the step to get my pew-pew. He ran out the house. He went down the street, pulled out that little small block. And the moment he pulled out, I knew who he was, and I fired on him. 15 years old. And it took me back to Richard Pryor. When I did this, boom. Something said, do it again. And I did it again. Boom. Took me back to that. Now I'm 15 years old. Thank God. Thank God. I didn't touch, I didn't hurt nobody. And sometimes when I walk past the store that was down on that corner, right? Thank God wasn't nobody outside. Because when I fired at him, it could have took somebody else down. 15 years old. Do y'all know how that bothers me today? To know that our youth, young, out there doing what they doing. Young. And y'all want to glamorize that. Then you don't understand the point of the school to prison pipeline. You uneducate them, you don't educate them properly, and they don't have nothing to live for, they're going to become destructive. Because if that's their way of getting what they want, as far as financially supporting themselves, right? They're going to turn to certain criminal behaviors. So I got to look back at my life, how I was at 13, 14, 15, all the way up to 30. Even though by 21, I started driving tractor trailers on and off. Because I would drive, then it seemed like I needed to make quick money. Then I would go back to driving, then I needed to make quicker money. It took me about 2 years when I got clean, know my power. It took me 2 years to get that thought out my head of wanting to be clean, know my power, wanted to be clean, going to NA meetings, talking to spiritual program and everything, but got the package on the street. That's what I was doing. I started sharing that with people because I had to get rid of that type of thinking. That's why you have a lot of returning citizens that comes home and practice the same behaviors because they haven't had a chance to get to change this, their old ways of thinking. The thing is, you'll get in your head and you're like, all right, I got caught by this, I got caught like that. Well, I'm going to do this different this time. I'm going to do that. I'm telling you, because I went through that for myself. But I had to start telling people. Once I started telling people what I was thinking about doing, that helped me to relieve those thoughts. I was getting ready to say that pressure, right? But those thoughts. And thank God just for today, coming up on 33 years clean, I did not put that poison back out into the community. Thank God. And some of y'all I know might not be in the game like that. You might be working, but you still shuffling. I ain't trying to go to prison for nobody. Most of all, me. Okay? I was set up 2 years ago for running off in my mouth like I'm doing now. In the black community. Had 2 YTs come together, created some charges, and had me put away. I did 11 months over the prison. I did 13 months on home detention. That was their way of just sitting my butt down. So when I hear a lot of y'all talk and talk about certain things, you ain't got the balls to stand up and represent your own people. So watch who you talking to when it come to me. Watch who you talking to. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to listen. And I'm listening to you talking about what's happening to us. But my thing is, what is you doing to slow that shit down? Now, let's get real. And I will ask you that. You can't even answer it because you're not doing nothing. You're just doing this. You just doing this. What is you doing in the communities that need that assistance the most? What type of programs or intervention programs, or what is you working on to work with the people to get them up out of that? We're just steady talk about the problem. That's why a lot of our politicians, they know whenever Steve Copeland step in a room, I can tell y'all what we can do to slow certain things down. And some of them, be honest with you, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear. Because there's more money in the problem, not the solution. It'll slow it down. In Baltimore City, the organization, Communities United of Baltimore, Maryland, and other programs, nonprofits, we reduced the police budget 1 year by $20 million. I know, look. Now, I'm trying to get your name all together. Now, my power. That's why a lot of people, when I go on their panels, they get offended. Because now, mind you, I hear the rhetoric you talking. I hear it. And I hear us talking about certain things. But I don't hear what we can do. Basically, even when it comes to relationships, what we can do to empower each other. I shared on the platform, right? Because I was in a marriage that went like this. It was just this. It was just this. And I'm telling you right now, I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1". By the time she finished coming at me with this, I was like 5'1". It tore me down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I did not know that men get abused too, but it's more like the mouth. And a lot of women, they think it's normal to degrade your man. They think it's a normal thing because it's just, and some men do it too. I'm not saying just women, please don't get it wrong. But some men, I'm used to men verbally, I mean, not verbally, I'm used to men physically assaulting, women. That's what I was used to when I heard the word abuse. And when I went to a therapist, now my power, when I went to a therapist, he was the one that helped me understand that was verbal abuse that I went through, because that's all I could hear. That's all I could hear with her voice. You did that. That's all I could hear, right? And I was telling him, and I share this too, knowing my power. I share this too, right? Because it seemed normal conversation, but when you get to yelling and screaming and it's constant, that thing can drive you wacky, whack, whack. Wait a minute. Right. Well, see, this is what I learned this time. Wait a minute. I'm trying to read back what No Power said, family. She said, even when I was with my husband, left and still treated him with the same respect. Thank you. Thank you. Because I'm going to tell you now, be honest, even with my ex, right, if she called my ass right now and said, Steve, I need you do this, need you do that, I'm gone. Right? But it's just that we clashed so much where it was really tiring. And then you bringing other people's stuff in and putting it into our house. Don't do that. Don't do that. You hanging out with your families and all of that, your cousins and them, and they going through shit, and you want the same attention they getting in your house, and you bringing that in there, and then we arguing over somebody else's stuff. So I'm not gonna say know my power that we won't go through certain things, but I don't expect it all the time. You get me? It was just too much. It was too much. And I went to therapy to help me learn how to cope more with my ex. And he was the one that helped me understand, because in my head, that's all I could hear. I'm at work, that's all I could hear. I'm trying to do what I gotta do. So when I went to the therapist, Know My Power, I told him, I said, I want the voices to stop, right? I was sharing this last night, an intervention, bust out laughing. I said, I told him, right, I wanted the voices to stop. He said, what voices? I said, my wife. And he bust out laughing, right? Because that's all I was in. And I said, it ain't funny. And that's when I found out that men get abused. I was in an abusive relationship, but it was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So sometimes, because a person is boisterous, let me put it like that, because they're real boisterous, it can become mental and emotional abuse, but they might not realize it. They just voicing there wherever they at. And I'm telling y'all, man, it took me 4 years after that. It took me 4 years, Queen. I had 17 years at that time when I went. And his goal was to work me out of that abusive marriage. But I didn't feel like God was telling me to go yet. So I didn't go back to him no more. So after that, I stayed there for 4 more years. My 21st year being clean. She called the police and said I hit her. Me and my kids sleeping downstairs in our bedroom. She's sleeping upstairs. But she called the police and said I hit her. I got locked up. And after they locked me up, that was over 11 years ago. I haven't been back since then. I had 21 years clean. The 26th, that was my 21st year clean. I spent that evening in prison. And after that, Know My Power, that was God's way of setting me free. Because I prayed. When I yelled out power, I yelled out, God, please help me. And that was his way of setting me free. January the 26th, I have 33 years. I've been out that marriage for 12 years now. January the 26th. And I tell people it was by way of protection order that saved my life. Because they give you them 30 days to stay away. And I told the judge, I said, Your Honor, can you extend this thing forever? I didn't want to go back. And she was like, Mr. Copeland, that's your home. You don't want to go back to your home? Whoa. You know what? I'm just reading what you put there. Yeah, that 21st represents world complete, and 4 deaths and rebirth transmission. I'm telling y'all, I had to. And it's not to, it was just that mental stuff I was going through, right? And the way the therapist said it, he said the mental part of being abused basically will stick with you all your life. And it's not to say the physical part won't, because the physical pain, we get over the physical pain, but it's the mental pain here. So y'all know I had to do a lot of spiritual work, a lot. You talking about a person, 6'1", feeling like he's 5'1". I was torn down. I'm talking about Christian man, ordained deacon, all of this. I felt like I was 5'1". So I had to start building myself back up. Most of all, I had to start getting back into like my prayers. I had to start getting back more now. I had to get back into my music, listening to music, reading Bible, because I felt like because of this, I made this more of my God than God. Listen to what I'm saying. You do not make your mate your God. Say what you want out your mouth, but I'm telling you personally. You do not make your mate your God. It's only one. So it got to the point where I had to feel that covering of the Holy Spirit back over my life again. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm telling you, anytime I take anything, food, smacks, lying, manipulating, and I let that control my mindset, my body, and stuff like that, I have to surrender to it. The same way I did, thanks, know my pain. I mean, no my power. Yes, all mental. Yeah. I had to look. Like she said, look, mental, emotional abuse. But look, I had to start believing back in the power again of the Holy Spirit. And it took a while for me to feel that protection back over my life. Watch what I'm saying, family. Watch what I'm saying. Watch what I'm saying. Because anything I put before God, whether it's food, smacks, anything that I make my God, that's giving me satisfaction. And guess what? I did a lot of stuff that I knew would take me out. And I did it anyway. So I had to realize I was hurting me. Even though, your mate dead too, but I was hurting me more than anything else. So I had to work back on Steve. I had to get my spirit. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, whatever energy you go by, right? Because some of y'all call it third eye. Some of y'all call it Mother Earth. Some of y'all call it Yahweh, who way, this way, that way. But guess what? I can tell you right now, it was the Holy Spirit that covered me back. And I felt complete again. I felt like God had me now. I'm telling y'all, it's the work that I had to do. Know my power. It's the work I had to do to get myself right. And we can call it the conscious, we can call it the soul, you can call it whatever you want. But I had to get my life right back with him. And then I began to feel complete again. And that's when I realized no man can do that. No human being can do that. That's the self thing with you and that power we talk about. Whether you call it a power greater than yourself, whether you call it a higher power, whether you call it Jesus, whether you call it Yahweh, whether you call it Jehovah, whatever spiritually, it's the spirit. It's the air you breathe. That's why we say, breathe into me, Lord, or breathe into me, Creator. So you have to become one again. That's the work I had to do to feel complete again. Thank you. Know my power. She said it's internal. And she's right. Because I had to go. I had to go back in here. It's eternal. I had to go right back in here. And I'm gonna tell you, as a person, know my power. with the working knowledge of the 12 steps being in NA, right? That's why the therapist was like, why are you here? Because y'all normally do self-evaluation on your own self. To whatever drama, whatever problems we have, you take the time out. All right, Steve, sit still. What is wrong with you, man? This how I gotta talk to me. Why are you doing such and such and such and such? I can't ask y'all that. I gotta ask me. Bro, why you acting like this? Why you acting like that, bro? Come on, gain some control over this. Tell us no. Tell us no. When you want to sit up there and act like a child and you know, do things contrary to the flesh and all that you know is wrong. When I say contrary, when you know the difference between right and wrong, but I will justify that wrong to make it right. That's why you cannot tell a person because whatever they doing wrong in their mindset is right. So that's a cycle you have to break from here. I got you, Queen. That's that mindset here. So I have to break it. Now, mind you, when I say I sponsor men and women, right? Most of them, I'm coming up on 33, so most of them have like 30, 31, 29. And they don't come to NA like they used to because they came in, they seen what their problem was, they got their life together, and they started businesses. They went into ministry. They know if they need to talk, I'm here. If I need to talk, I can call them and tell them I just need you to listen. Because the goal is to get it off. I don't need you to try to fix me all the time because basically I already know what to do is just getting that pressure off me. And be honest, if it gets to that point that I feel like I need to go and talk with a therapist, I have no problem. I have no problem. And a lot of times they don't be sitting there taking notes and telling me what to do here and telling me what to do there. They don't take notes. The goal is to let Steve vent. Get it off him. But I need you to listen because I need to make sure if I didn't sway away, right? I need to just make sure I'm still on the right path. That's what I do if I talk with a therapist or somebody else. Because I need you to hear me out because sometimes I might not see me and my negative behavior. So I need them to listen. Am I still moving in the right direction? That's all I'm asking. All right, Queen, because look, I learned that with our 4th step, right? When you go inside of yourself. And what I do, y'all, with knowing my power talking about, right? I have to, anybody I work with, and we talk about the how of the program, right? We just talk about being honest, being open-minded, and being willing. That's all we saying. So with me, I started realizing being honest is nothing but the truth. So I'm being honest with myself. Being open-minded is just having faith. So I'm talking about having faith back in myself. Being willing to trust. I'm talking about being willing to trust back in me. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm going in me. Because if I don't have these in me, being honest with myself, being truthful to myself, having faith in myself, I'm not going to be able to give it back to nobody else. That's why when we talk about character, y'all never say this type of stuff. Because if you don't know yourself as a human being, then you won't know how to give back to anybody else. So I had to learn about myself, and it starts with communication. It starts with communication. So all my clients, when they come in, I'm listening to them because I have to do intake form. So I'm evaluating you. When you come into my housing program, I'm doing an intake. I'm evaluating you. I want to know what you're dealing with. And if you're not willing to talk with me and be honest with me, then I can't help you. So you're fooling yourself. And I only said that because some of y'all might be over there saying, oh, they don't need to know all that. Yes, I do, for you to be in my housing program. Because if you turn around and you act out in a real destructive way, I can't keep you. If you're gonna act like you got a behavior with fighting, and now you in a building with about 30 other clients, but you feel like you need to go around and fight on people, you're not gonna stay in there. So you got to let me know so I can let you know. If you act out in a certain way, you gone. Don't fall for that bull jump when people say he got to go evict you, he got to do this, he got to do that. No, he don't. That's not how my housing program runs. I can give you 72 hours to get out. I can put your butt out now. And that's the argument I had with the police department. This is not rent. I don't do leases. I don't do rental agreements because it's no guarantee they're going to stay. And when I talk with them dummies, they act like they don't understand nothing I say out my mouth. So I say I'm going to stop talking with them. I'm sharing with you business. And if you don't understand anything about transitional housing, I'm talking about the police. Because when they start saying landlord tenant, no. This is my rental property, this business. It's my business. Yeah, it's like a shelter, know my power. But see now, she just said it's like a shelter, and that's right. But now, with me, we rent out rooms. So what I charge is $500 per room. The lady I was working with was charging $600 per bed. I told her that's too much. That's too much for the type of people that we work with. When you got somebody that getting SSI, you leaving them with $300 a month. What about food? What about clothing? Now, see, when you deal with me, because I get those things, I can help provide those things for you. But the goal is to put you in a low-income housing program. Into a low-income house or Section 8. Because you're doing it temporarily. So if you show me each month, you can pay $500 on time every month. When it's time for you to move forward into a permanent place, you're going to have your receipts. So I'm normally going to talk to that landlord or whoever to let them know that you've been paying your stuff on time for the last 6 months. You know, you've been keeping your space clean. So now I'm becoming your mouthpiece for that landlord that wants to charge you 2 times the rent. Security deposit. So I'm asking him not to charge you double security. Mainly if you got evictions. If you got evictions, you showing them you're not real responsible with paying your bills. See, y'all don't understand that. They can use that to discriminate against you and not let you in on their property. So mine is called the Second Chance Forgiveness Program. So whenever I talk to an investor, I'm talking about a property investor, somebody that's renting homes, somebody that has an apartment complex. Those are the type of people I deal with to put you into a permanent place. But the goal is to teach you how to maintain and take care of those people's property. So once they realize, and I'm talking about our rental agents, right? Our realtors. Once they realize I'm on the temporary side and I'm teaching you how to be more independent and responsible for you to graduate and get your key to your affordable house. That's how my program runs. So if you come in and you don't do the goddamn work and turn your life around, there's nothing we can do for you. You're the one stunning your growth. And sometimes, thank you, because I know you get me. I know you got me. Because I have to deal with property managers. But first, I got to see that you are being responsible and productive, because now check this out. My name is on the line. When I send you to a property manager, when I send you to a private landlord, when I send you to somebody that they looking at Steve, well, you taught them how to change the quality of their lives. Why is they acting like this now? That's breaking that old habit. I'm not by myself now. Do not get it wrong. I have a whole team of professionals that work with the people. I had Common Sense come on, right? And Common Sense says, Steve, because I normally tell people, give me 3 to 6 months. Common Sense says, Steve, with the women, with children, because if you read up about temporary housing programs, right, or transitionals, it's normally 18 to 24 months. Common Sense broke it down to me why they do that, mainly with the women with children, because the women are more independent. And some of them don't have babysitters. So that's why they more independent, but you got to break that habit. I'm in Baltimore City. I'm in Baltimore City. You already following me, Know My Power. You already follow me. So I love people feeding me, because the more y'all educating me, right, with what you do, it'll better help me prepare for the people. You get me? So, because you know, in my case, and I know you understand this since you used to be a property manager, right? You know, I deal with HUD housing and all that too, right? So I had to get involved with people like HUD housing. I had to get involved with homeless services, DSS, because what tends to happen, right? What they do when I bring a family in, DSS might pay for that first month for them, right? And what I'm trying to get them to do is pay up to 3 months. But now let me go here, Know My Power, because I know you understand this as well. Because we have programs with Section 8. And a lot of people don't know that Section 8 is mainly for rental properties. But some of them will pay for apartments too. But if you read up on it, it's going to tell you that it's mainly for rental as far as houses, right? Homes. You can even buy a house with a Section 8. A lot of people don't know that, but you can. Now, what I do, my goal is to learn more about the housing programs that HUD have, because a lot of people only know about like low income housing, and they know about the Section 8. But my daughter had a voucher for homeless people. I'm like, what? Right. Now see, that's why I was trying to be careful with that, because Know My Power said, but they pay for apartments. They do pay for apartments too. But if you read up on it, it will talk about mainly the landlords, right? Private landlords. But now, because I was dealing with apartment building, Know My Power, and we was looking for Section 8 to basically, let me say this, Power. The Jewish guy that I was messing with, right? The Jewish guy, he has a contract with HUD housing. And he got about 200 houses or places in that. But now I'm gonna tell you this: what I learned too. Know My Power. If they can get you in on regular rent rather than using the Section 8s and all that, because that's guaranteed money. But when they use Section 8, which is supposed to be guaranteed money, stuff like what Trump is doing will slow their money up for them. I found that out recently. Know My Power. Because I started working with this Jewish guy, right? in the building I had. Temporary to permanent. He's the permanent side. All right, thanks. She said Section 8 is better, and you will get backdated your money. Now, I'm just saying, if they don't pay you, if that landlord, let me put it like this, they used to getting a check every so many months or every month. And if they don't get it and it's held up some kind of way, she's correct. Eventually they will pay it. But I'm talking about the government. They will pay it, but they will hold their damn money. But now, that's the bull crap that Trump was trying to do. And I didn't mean to mention his name like that. I maybe say the orange man, right? Where he's trying to slow up that funding. You got programs out there in the community like daycare that's looking for that government funding to pay them their money for babysitting. But some of the programs he was talking about, now I don't think they're gonna get completely cut off, no. But they can play with the money and slow it down. And like thank you, Norma Power. Because one thing in that process too, what I tell my clients, the goal is to get you either in Section 8 or according to your income. And not only that, my power, I want to study more on some of the grants that HUD Housing have that a lot of people don't know about. Only because I do temporary housing. So I have to know how to guide the clients where they don't have to pay a full amount. You get me? The rent is expensive. It's expensive. Shucks, they want $1,500 for one bedroom. Then if you want to get two, they want about $18,000. I'm telling you, a lot of people can't afford that. And I feel like this. If I can pay you $1,500 a month for rent, I might as well go buy me a house. I might as well buy me a house for that money. Yep. And she correct. She said it's so many grants out there that you can apply for. And matter of fact, thanks for saying that, my power. Because I'm gonna go share this a little bit with y'all. In Baltimore City, and Will Hanna, he has at that time he had about 270 houses in the land trust. I think it's commercial land trust, right? The houses that I had ran for $10,000, but I had reached out to a lender. Know my power. I reached out to a lender to help us get that money to rehab those 30 units of Park Heights. It was $5.4 million, the loan. So I had some lenders working on it. They told me, sit still, Steve, while his credit score was like 540 something. So they was finding it hard to get the money to do what we needed to do. So they told me, they said, Steve, sit still while we work on his credit score. That's when I started know my power. That's when I started the couch conversation, because I was sitting on the couch. And I started on my live. This was about 6 years ago. And I started on my live, the couch conversation show, right? Matter of fact, I'm thinking 2017. So it was about 8 years ago, right? When I first started the couch conversation. And I've been doing it since then. I just switched it from the couch conversation to the couch talk. But we can talk a little bit about, I'm sorry, family, because I'm starting to stutter. But we could talk a little bit about any and everything. That was the reason why I started it. So we can talk about life trauma. We can talk about like men's mental health. That's another reason why I started the Teen Talk Show, Be More's Real Teen Talk Show, to give our youth a voice, where they can talk about where they at, what's going on with them, how they feel, stuff like that. Now, lately, what I've been thinking about is letting them, like, mainly the mothers. If the father's right there, that's fine too. But the mothers, single mothers that's raising children by themselves, I want them to come up where we can talk about life. See how I paused a little bit? Number one, I was looking at comedian Latrice the other day. Her daughter's 12 years old. Her daughter was telling her mother that she didn't feel comfortable with the man in the house because the man be kind of stalking her in a way. So Latrice was laying her out. I think she was doing a skit. You know, that was her way of basically telling parents to listen to your children. I kind of got mad at first, right? But then I realized this Latrice, and this is what she do. She was doing a skit, but she didn't believe her daughter. She wanted to believe more in the man. And her daughter was only telling her mother how this man was making her feel. So she been doing little skits like that, real life skits, real stuff, and how mothers will respond. Because she took up, look, no, my power the same way. Same way, mine's are grown now. So look, I don't worry too much now because they grown, you know. But when they was younger, same way. I don't care who you was. My brothers, my cousins, you ain't staying alone with my kids, around my children. Even if this wasn't a habit that you had, right? You don't know where mine might be at. Mainly when you got 6, 7-year-olds, right? 8, 9, 10-year-olds. Then when they turn like 10, 11, 12, and they 6, 7, next week they 10, 11, 12. You like, wait a minute, how they grow up that fast? Then you look around, right? They got boobs coming in. Then they monthly cycle, and I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? You were 6 months just a few hours ago. I'm telling y'all from a father's perspective. I remember changing Pampers, giving them baths, dressing them up, then taking them shopping for their little stuff, right? And dad would tell them, no, you can't wear this, wear that. Because look, and you can take it the way you want. If my daughters was to wear something, right, and I'm talking about as a man, if they would wear something that I thought would get them too much attention, I would tell them, no, that's not good. But I didn't want to make them feel bad because you have young girls that's starting to come into themselves and they're starting to feel beautiful, sexy. It's like they're glowing. You get me? Because I'm watching my daughters. And I'm watching them transition. So they feel good inside. So they want to wear. And don't pay deep attention to the words I'm getting ready to say. But I'm getting ready to say it from a male's perspective. When they start feeling sexy, when they start feeling gorgeous, because they're getting into their femininity, you get me? So as a father, I started seeing this, but I didn't want them to wear anything that would get them inappropriate attention. You get me? So anything that made them look more mature and, more mature or older than what they really are, no. So when I would take my girls shopping, I knew my wife didn't want them to wear certain things. I already knew that. But as a man, I didn't want them to get things that would reveal too much, that would have a man go, damn, shorty, you fine as I don't know what. Because if my daughter told me that, I'm coming for you. So it wasn't just them. I had to watch me too. Because number one, you disrespect them, I'm coming to you. If you say something and they get away from it, that's fine. But if you harass them, I'm coming to you. I don't care who you is. If mines come to me and say, Dad, it's this guy that be such and such and such, I'm coming to you. And I'm going to tell you like this, not that one, bro. Don't come for that one, bro. But now when I come to you, I might have to go into that gangster mode to let you know, brothers, and y'all know how we get. Y'all know how we get. So my goal, and this was something we were talking about the other day, like providing and protecting for our women. My niece, my sister's oldest daughter, is 45. Her other sister is probably about 43, and my nephew about 40. I raised them. I did foster care with them because I did not want to see my sister lose her kids to the system. So I became a foster care provider, brothers. They used to call me Uncle Daddy Steve. They used to call me Uncle Daddy Steve. And sometimes the day when we together, they laugh about it and say, remember when we used to call you Uncle Daddy Steve? My nephew, which is about 40, he called me Daddy. He knows I'm his uncle, but he called me Dad. My two nephews that my sister raising, they grown, all of them grown. They call her mama. Because my sister wasn't there for them like that. She raised them two, I raised the other three. Now, this was before my 36-year-old daughter came. And that was part of what we was talking about earlier on What's Your Name show. It's that village. Y'all got to understand, I grew up with the village. And it might seem like we can't recreate that village. Yes, we can. Or if we can't, because y'all do percentage rates, right? We can slow a lot of this stuff down when it comes to the community. We can, well, when you have a community that's out of order, we can slow a lot of it down and gain control over it. That's why I don't like hearing when y'all sit back and say, oh, this ain't gonna change, oh, that ain't gonna change. Did you change? Because if you change, what make you think other people can't change? See, that's how I had to look at me. But you gotta want to change. And some people that don't want to change, if you're dealing with me, I'm telling you, I'm gonna come for your butt. If you in my program and I see you playing around, I'm gonna come for you. You ain't gonna like it. I had a look, know my power. I had a young lady, right, which wasn't on her meds. She come tell me, I'm gonna unalive you, I'm gonna unalive you, me and her arguing. I said, well, do that, do it. I laid her butt out, right? So once she calmed down, she said, you remind me of my mother. I said, I remind you of your mother. Why can't I remind you of your father? Y'all know we ain't do nothing but bust out laughing, right? And I said, come here and give me a hug. And I said, don't you ever come at me like that again, God dang it. And this is sometimes how I work with my clients. Because when they're out of order, the goal is to put them back in order. So say like some of them not taking their meds. They stop taking their meds because they think they all right now. And I realize their mind is racing. I got to think of ways to bring them down. Thank you. Girl, hey, know my power. She did. And see what I had to do, because I think she was around about, she might have been about 36, if not 40, because she got a 15-year-old. I forgot how old she actually is, right? Because they have to write that down. But she was like a daughter, you get me? And most of my clients are young. Most of them. Now, I get older people that comes into my housing program too. That's AARP recipients, right? I get them too. But most of the women that comes into my housing program, they can be from 18, 17, with a baby or two, you know that's kind of shocking, right? But it's like, oh my God, you know, but still that leads to something else. But now they can be young like that and they can be up to about 40. No one said you talking about young, you not old, you yourself. No man, no more than look, 50 girl, look, I ain't mean to call you girl queen, but look, I'm 63. My mind to tell me I'm 36. My body be like, you better stop playing, Steve. So to me, right, a lot of them, be honest with y'all, they like my daughters. So what I had to do, I had to get women. You making me crack up. Know my power, know my power. I be honest, because I went from a two house to apartment complex. So I had to get women to basically work with the women because this time I was taking on more women, right? So I had to get the women to basically work with the women. The men, not a problem, but it was the women that I needed the women to work with because I get too close and I will take you on like a daughter. And I have to realize, Steve, they're not your daughters because I want the best for you. I don't care if you have 10 children. I want the best for you. So if you come into my housing program, I have to put the type of people in your life like your PRP. Your PRP is like your personal counselor, right? And their job is to help you, motivate you, encourage you, and put your life back in order. Not only that, if they feel as though you need to talk with a therapist, they will suggest it. They would basically suggest it to me. And then I would have to put in for a therapist for you. Now, a lot of times before you get to the therapist dealing with your PRP, if I see personally, and I'm talking about Steve and what I do in evaluating you, and I see you write down that you have some mental disorders, right? Or psychological disorders. It could be bipolar, and I'm trying to watch it for TikTok's sake. It could be schizophrenia. It can be PTSD. Anything that causes you to act out in a destructive way, I am going to suggest that you get on meds. Well, I am going to suggest that you talk with the psychiatrist. If the psychiatrist feel as though you need meds to balance you out, I'm going to suggest that you take it. I know it takes a while for certain medications to help balance you out. So some medications they give you might make you feel, say like drowsy, or make you feel a certain way during the day when you shouldn't be tired. Well, now we got to talk with the psychiatrist again. Because what they're doing, they're giving you medication according to your symptoms. And some medications they're giving you might just be too strong. Not only that, because I'm learning too, knowing my power, dealing with psychotherapists, dealing with people that does hypnosis, right? Which is considered as psychohypnosis, something like that, therapy, right? Talking with them, they can only work with your nose areas, but when it comes to the medical side of that psychiatrist, the psychiatrist is the one that subscribes the medication because she's more on the medical side of things. They are more on the, I was going to say healing side, the treatment side. Now, holistic is another way that I was looking at this woman to come into the housing program to actually work with the women. And I'm going to tell y'all this too, queens. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. It's not mine. But if you don't know how to take care of your body right, look where I'm going, up and down. Because you don't know, you was never taught how to keep this done right and this and that, you know yourself. If you was not taught, that's why I look at the people that does holistic work. I look at your PRP, because if you don't know how to properly clean yourself, I want women to work with the women to teach the women. I got you, my power. I got you. Knowing my power, I got you. So now this what the program is all about. My power, and the name of my business, family, is Strengthen the Community, LLC. The Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope. You can Google me. You can go on. You can go just about. Whoa! See? Now, let me ask you this, because you said you certified. Can medical assistants pay you for your service? Can medical or Medicaid pay you for you? See, that's what I need to hear. That's what I need to hear. Because you know why I say that? Because most of them, by them being in the mental health program, and you know, being a mental health care provider, I provide them clients out of my housing program. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. Because look, if people who gets see that you got to fill me in more. But basically, what I'm saying, know my power. I can hire you to work with my clients because I'm referring them to you. Long as you licensed and certified, and we see. Matter of fact, me and somebody was talking about that. Just to think about what you said. We was talking about that with the hypnosis and everything too. Because if you getting paid, if you license, like she said, she's certified. If you license or you certified, I can refer my clients to you. If long as I know this is what you do, and say like I want to send 20 clients, I might give her 20 of my clients because that's what she can come and serve, right? Give her her own little space and all that. Because this is what I was doing with the lady that does holistic stuff, right? And then she do gardening and all of that. So as I was listening to her, Know My Power, I was thinking about the women and how some women, you know, and I'm just talking about on the physical side, haven't been taught how to properly take care of themselves. Just catch where I'm going, and I know you get it as a woman. You know, to basically appreciate her body. Now I'm telling you this from a man, right? But the women understand the women a lot better. But I'm telling you as a man, right? Be honest with you. The reason why I'm saying that, I'm getting ready to call you hypnosis. Know My Power. I want you to smell good. I want you to taste good. And a lot of women haven't been taught. You get me? So I'm trying not to go too deep. But that's why when a woman, same with a man, when a woman knows how to embrace herself, embrace her beauty, she will treasure herself more to understand every man don't deserve this place. I'm telling you from a man, what I respect from that woman. So when you make me kind of wait, you hypnotize too. Miyoki do that. That's why, be honest, Know My Power. That's why I use women that basically know how to help women change the quality of their lives, their thinking. Basically, teach them how to appreciate themselves more. All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's what Miyoki is. She does hypnosis as well. And to go back to what we saying, right? Now, mind you, because of my housing program, and I work with a lot of low to moderate income people, I work with a lot of people with life traumas, right? So if they wasn't never taught how to properly, how can I say it, treat themselves. Yeah, she said yes, and it's everything for the mental. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why knowing my power, knowing my power. That's why I always, well, before you come in, I have to do an intake to see do you qualify for the program. And what I do, I don't do it by myself. I have other women that sits there with me, mainly when I do an intake, period, mainly with the women. I have a woman there or two with me. And if they feel as though they see some things in you that you might give us a problem, and they be like, "No, I don't think this one gonna be right," I'll listen to them because I won't see certain things. That's why I had to put women here. Wanda is the one, my office space, right? The kitchen is nice and neat and clean. The office is clean, and this is the way I want you to keep your rooms. You got to show them by example. You got to show them. And this is how I want y'all to keep that area. If the women are telling y'all, you know, Mr. Steve don't like this, he don't like that, he don't like this, he don't like that, and you tend to do it anyway, and they come and tell me, and Mr. Steve got to come and talk to you, you're not gonna like it. I'm telling you, Mr. Steve. And you can say what you want. You can sit back and say, well, that ain't professional. That's real professional. Because sometimes with some people, be honest with you, you got to meet them where they at. So some going to just do what you, the suggestions wise, y'all. Don't take it wrong. They just suggestions. Some people going to do the right things. Some people going to fight you not to do the right things. Now, the goal with that is, am I going to just tolerate it? Right? That's all. Because if I see you stunning your growth and you getting to the point that you like getting too hard-headed and you back, and I'm talking about grown people. And you acting stubborn with certain things. And when I say big unk, because I know it's business, but when I say big unk, or I say that dad like, I will come at you in a certain way. That's only to get you to do the right things. Some of them will take it in a negative way, but some people I have to push. I got to encourage them more. I got to motivate them. Just like when I was sharing about the young lady, Know My Power. When I was sharing about her. And once she brought it down, now we was able to hug each other. And I'm like, I love you. And you better stop that bull crap. But now, mind you, I'm not her problem. Anytime her mother don't want her in the house, and then she got children. Anytime her dad don't want them in the house, and they got children and babies, you the problem with your parents. So now I'm challenging you to help you get better so your parents will appreciate you more. And y'all get it twisted. Y'all get it twisted. So a lot of times they taking stuff out on me because they angry with their parents. So a lot of times I have to step in as that parent. But guess what? I'm not the parent. I'm the outsider. But I got to step in with the discipline and stuff like that. So a lot of times when they get loud, I have to get louder. If you get loud, I'm not going to sit back and say, why are you acting like that? Why are you being so loud? No, you get loud, I'm going to get loud with your butt. Because the goal is I want you to catch it. I want you to hear me and bring it down. Bring it down. That's all I'm saying. Because I know your mind is racing. Mainly if you the type that need meds, dealing with mental issues. dealing with, I'm gonna say that ain't sound right. Knowing my power. I don't like using certain words, but you're dealing with a disorder, right? And I already know. I got to. Even the guys, I got to. But most of the women, because you understand what they're dealing with, right? And it's a lot. And they already know that Mr. Steve is not here to hurt you or nothing. But a lot of times when they hurt you, they might be hurt because of the relationship with the mother, the father, excuse me, a uncle, a cousin. Get where I'm going with certain things. They might be hurt. So I'm not your problem. I already know that. But because I'm in your face, you'll take a lot of that anger, that frustration, and that pain out on me. But you'll do this. Thank you. She said we are the receivers. And look, cause she right. She said we are the receivers. And so they just taking in everything and not releasing nothing. That's why I use her professional services. See, I get them prepared to be honest with themselves, to have faith back in themselves, to trust back in themselves. So whenever she comes around and maybe gonna hold a group or deal with somebody one-on-one, I want them to be honest with know my power. I want them to be honest. I don't want them to go and like waste her time, because she gonna read you too. She know the techniques that it takes to help you to become a better human being, right? So because she is the professional, she is certified, she is licensed. I'm doing it from um, a, a sponsor or life coach approach. I'm doing it from that. The way I sponsor my people, right, is the way I deal with my clients too. I didn't realize it, know my power, until somebody told me. They said, Steve, you know what you are because of the work I do, family. I'm just the type of person that like helping people. She said, you are a life coach. And I looked up that word life coach, and it explained me to a T for the things that I do with working with people. But now I was going to get certified knowledge, but now because of the HIPAA laws, because I had to read a little bit about that too, because of the HIPAA laws, I have a tendency, and I didn't read as deep, knowing my power. But when it comes to people who have been raped, who have been hurt, and on a deep, deep level, because of me being a sponsor and sponsoring men and women, these are the things that we talk about. So I was looking at certain guidelines that you have to follow once you become certified. Now, with me, because of my business, financially, that's not a problem. But because of me, and what I do, the thing is preparing you, helping you to build this up where you feel comfortable in being honest with yourself, with your therapist, with your psychiatrist, with your, well, I like to do the PRP because the PRP is normally first. And then if we feel as though you need a therapist, then, we have to give you a therapist. And if you come into my program and you already dealing with psychological issues and you put it on your paper, I'm going to ask you, do you have a therapist? Do you have a psychiatrist? Do you have a PRP? Because the PRP is there to help you put your life together. The therapist is there too, don't get it wrong. But the PRP is normally the first one, because that's the one that help you with your IDs. That's the one that help you if you want to go back to school, sign you up, just guide you to these places, right? That's what they normally do. Now, your therapist is more like this. But then your therapist will teach you coping skills, strategies, and stuff like that. Me as a sponsor, if I'm working with you as well, I can teach you from a spiritual perspective on how to go back inside of yourself and become whole with self and God again. I can teach you that as an ordained deacon. I don't go on a religious tip. Do not get it wrong. As an ordained deacon, my journey is basically spiritual. But if you biblical, I can talk with you in that language as well. If it's plain and simple, I can talk with you in that language as well. So I have to meet people at the level of where they at. You might not look at Christ as your Lord and your Savior, and it's okay. It's okay. All right? Because I studied enough to understand, to be honest with you, be honest. And see, when I start doing this, it's like I'm trying to watch certain things. But you do not, from my studying, and I am a Christian, don't get it twisted. God loves the individual for who they are. And if you have not accepted Jesus as your Lord and your Savior, God still loves you anyway. A lot of people will tell you that he don't, and that's not true. That's a big lie. All right? I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care what your sexual preference is. God loves you anyway. He might not like that behavior, but he loves the individual. See, people ain't going to tell you that. But as a Christian man myself, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what it is. He loves you anyway. He already knew before he put you in your mother's womb what you was going to turn out to be. He already knew because your life was preordained before you came here. So I'm telling you what he showed me. So what he showed me, and from anybody that's building a relationship or connection with the Spirit or with the Creator, with the Father, anybody that's doing that and you don't go through Jesus Christ, he loves you in spite of. You're his creation. Don't you let nobody tell you nothing different. I'm not going to take the Bible. I don't do it. I'm not going to take the Bible and say, oh, you going to go to heck. Rather, I'm married. If I'm married, right, and I'm sleeping around, that's what Bible says. But by right, a lot of people that's just sleeping around and they Christian people, they already know they're not supposed to have sex out of wedlock. But they'll turn around, right, and they'll beat you up for what you're doing, and they doing the same. That's why I don't play them games. I don't do it. Because when I read and I study scripture, I'm reading. Listen to what I say. When I read and I study scripture, you're not there with me. So when I read and I study scripture, that's God's way of talking to me and telling me how he want me to live my life. I don't care if the white man wrote it or not, because a lot of y'all get screwed up with that too. I wouldn't care if a Chinese person wrote it. Because now, as a man myself, as a man, and I'm talking about a man, I was going to say heterosexual man, as a man that love women, and y'all know there are men out there that look good too. The heck I'm going to lay with another wing when I'm myself. Catch what I just said. As a man, what the heck I want to lay with another wing? I know deep inside that's not what I desire. I like the moot better. The meow. I was thinking about that meow. Look, I like the meow better. Come on, let's keep it real. Anytime y'all know when I come on, that's what I'm about, keeping it real. And if you can't handle the truth, then you don't need to come over this route. Go to other people's stuff where they like to yell and scream and knock each other down. And, sometimes I'm over there too. Let me see. It's about 3 of them. Mr. Humble is one. He called me Unc. And he know when I come, I'm coming with facts. I'm talking about experience. We got Ron Versation. He be having some good prompts. And guess what? When I read their prompts, just about everything they put up, it's like, God darn. I didn't experience it. You know, somewhere along the line, you get me? So I be telling them, I say a lot of that, mainly if they say interracial dating. My son dates a YT. Why am I going down white people? If she ever hear me talk in that way, she might think I'm trying to down her. I don't play that stuff. Then I got biracial nieces and nephews. I don't never want their mothers to think Uncle Steve on here down in them. Y'all a bunch of hypocrites. You got family members too that's mixed and all this type of stuff, and then you'll come on here behind their backs, and then you talk a bunch of crudball stuff about them. And then when you see them, you be like, "Hi, how you doing? How you been? How's the family?" And then wonder why somebody punched you in your mouth. You flip-flop. You flip-flop. And then I hear a lot of y'all talking about we need to do our own land and do all this and that. Go do it. Bye. I ain't trying to be smart. I want to see some color added into us. What the heck I want to be around just all black people for? And it's not that I dislike my people. Don't get it wrong. Y'all know how we is. You got to throw a little flavor in there. Y'all be serious too. We need our own land. We need this. We need that. We need to learn to get along with each other first to create our own land, schools and all that. We already got it. Build back up in the communities that tend to be falling apart. Y'all don't realize that your mind all the way over there. Build back up. Do you realize the same with white people? If they build something just for white people and a black person want to come in, do you realize if they don't allow them in, that's called discrimination? That's the same with us. If we get our own land that y'all be talking about, make me think y'all back in roots and all that type of stuff, right? Make me think a lot of y'all that came from Africa, and then we got people over in Africa that's suffering too in their own land. They taking the materials out, sending them all around the world rather than putting the money back into Africa. And that's basically all over. So some of the conversations y'all have, I'll be like, where in the hell is they coming from? You make me think you over there reading off of them prompts and stuff, talking and making yourself trying to sound very educated and knowledgeable. That's all you do. And I listen to a lot of y'all bashing with no, well, you know, we can start this type of program, right? For the youth. Let's put together and open up a multi-purpose center for inner city youth. Come on. That's a vision. Come on. Stephen Copeland Jr., multi-purpose center for inner city youth. We're going to do music, art, theater, dance, and all of that. It's going to be like the School of the Arts. But we're going to have to get people to come in and volunteer their services. If you're an instructor, stuff like that, dance instructor, music, theater, teaching and all that, come and volunteer your service. To embrace our youth talent. I got a Facebook page, Stephen Copeland Jr., Sports and Talents. Basically talking about embracing our youth. See, none of y'all were asked to be a part of that because that goes to show me you're not really about helping our youth. I got people over there running that page now. They put stuff on that's happening into the community on there. When I see a kid like on TikTok or something and they mastering certain things, I'll send their stuff over to that page. It's a private page. I didn't understand. Now I understand a lot more. But I didn't understand that once it's private, you can't make it public. I've been trying to make it public. When I come on here, and like I said, we can talk just about anything. Abandonment issues, marriage issues. We can talk about those things, right? Because the goal is to let you get it off your chest. And then to come back and say, you know what, I went through the same things. And this is what I did to come up out of it and be able to stay out of it a day at a time. See, now we're talking about working solutions. When you share with that person what you did, a step at a time, to come out and stay out of it, one day at a time. I know when you love or you're in love with someone, I know how hard it is to walk away when you in something very unhealthy. I don't just tell people because I know it's not that easy. It's not as easy as you can say it out your mouth. Now, it might be for some, but when you in an unhealthy relationship, right, the only thing, and you see it, the only thing you want is for things to come to peace, you want it to stop. So you're trying to hang in there for it to, gain some peace, some healing. But then you realize after a certain length of time, it's not getting better. Steady getting worse. It's not getting better. It's steady getting worse. And then what y'all have a tendency of doing, right? The victim is only trying to hang in there because they want the best for everything. Then you're going to be like, well, what did you do? What did you do? No, listen to what they're saying. Listen. Because if you're in an abusive relationship, you don't deserve nobody to feel like they need to take and put their hands on you. You're not a child. When that person feel like they need to fight you to gain control over you, do you realize that's what that is? It's dominating that individual, trying to gain control over that individual physically. Why should you feel like you need to take your hands or take something and take somebody down with it? Mainly your mate or your wife. Why do you feel like it's okay? You need to get help when you feel like it's okay to put your hands on somebody else. You need to learn some self-control and some self-discipline. I listen to a lot of y'all brothers. Y'all don't talk like that. For a man that likes to, go after a woman. For a man that will come on here and talk about, I got daughters, but these be this, these be that. I'm like, what? Is that how you talk around your daughters? And if you say no, you are a liar. Because if it's that easy for you to sit up here and call a woman a B or say bro, you saying bro to a woman. What's up, bro? See, bro, let one of my daughters call me bro. Let them call me bro. Mm-hmm. They ain't got to worry about daddy no more. Call me bro, call me the N-word, call me something that like I'm your daggone buddy. You ain't got, I will delete your number now. Play with me. And a lot of y'all can say what you want out your mouth, and I'm talking about our brothers. But when it comes to certain things, as a father, even with my son, as a grandfather, they know I don't like. They know dad gonna say certain things if you're out of order. But now, if I come at them for whatever reason, I have to come back with something to embrace them. A lot of y'all don't know how to do that. You'll call them all out their names, you breaking them down, their self-esteem is dropping, and then you'll leave them like that. Whenever you mentally, emotionally, and verbally abuse somebody, you build them back up if you want to talk down at them. And I'm talking about mainly with our children. You want to say stuff back to them, even though you cutting them down with this, to let them know no matter what, I love you. But that was wrong. You got to point out the fault to let them see what they did was wrong, but you have to build them to help them understand they are precious still. You don't leave them down. I had to learn stuff like that. As a foster care provider, I took classes where they teach you how to deal with children, mainly children that's not your children. The same stuff that I learned how to treat you know, the foster care children, or the way they teach you in foster care, I was able to apply that in dealing with my own children. Y'all don't like to hear that, do you, bros? You don't like to hear for 10 years. This was in the 90s when I first got clean. Every Friday, I used to go into the Wide building in Baltimore City. It's torn down now. Every Friday night, 7 o'clock, I would go in there to do an NA meeting. And I would encourage and motivate the men, and they wasn't all black, about coming home and getting involved in their children's lives. The whole goal was to work with them to turn this mindset around, because I lived that life. So the goal was to help them understand you can become a better and a more productive member in society. I held that prison commitment down for 10 years. Then on the weekends, I used to go down to this halfway house, talking with the men about being responsible and being productive. I'm only sharing with y'all since I've been clean, right? For the last 30-something years. Since I've been clean. And people taught me how to get rid of that old way of doing things. People taught me, because I had to change my old ways of thinking. I had to change people, places, and things. People taught me this. And they taught it to me where they would say it over and over and over, right? Repeatedly. Because the same way I became addicted to that destructive lifestyle, I had to become addicted to this new way of life. So that's what I do today. And it's not to say I don't fall short, don't get it wrong. I wish I could sit here and tell y'all. I can tell you this one, though. A lot of the stuff I used to do, I just don't do no more. I just don't do. It don't feel right. A lot of it don't feel right. Just because I'm 63, that don't mean I don't like poo-poo. Just because I haven't slept with nobody in 6 years right now, that don't mean I don't like poo-poo. And then the type of work I do, you know, dealing with the women and the children. So, you know, I'm dealing with mothers. If I want to step across the line, I can. But thank God, just a day at a time. I do not believe in mixing business and pleasure. I'm talking about me. I can't, when it comes to that, I can't speak for nobody else. I can tell you Steve Copeland. Because I know a lot of people with housing programs slept with a lot of women. Thank God I just didn't take that route. The shame and that guilt probably would have ate my butt up. And still to this day, they come in, a lot of them not ugly and stuff like that. Beautiful. And the thing that gets me with a lot of them, right? When you got somebody 17, 18, and they got a 6-year-old child, how that happen? That's a baby. Got somebody 10, 11. That's a baby. Who did it? Hmm? Who did it? And then they can't go out and hang out with their girlfriends. They young. They can't do teenage stuff because they got to be home to watch the baby. So they're not able to enjoy their lives because of what happened. This is the type of stuff having a housing program that I encounter with dealing with people. I don't know what world a lot of y'all live in or what planet a lot of y'all is from. This is stuff that's happening in life. I don't care if she got 5, 3, 2, 1, or 8 more. You get me? Children. I will never make you feel uncomfortable, or I will never make you feel bad about yourself because you have 5 or 6 children and you're not even 40, but you need help to help balance your life out. What do I look like? Coming in my housing program, I'm telling you, that don't make no sense. You got all these. No. She know, even though she got 5 or whatever, 2 or 3. She know, in a sense, that she already screwed up. Because she had the baby for you. And you fooled her, made her think you was going to take care of your responsibilities. But then, rather than you looking at what you did, you want to blame it on the government. You rather live with her and don't work, but you want her to get government assistance when you the man. That's why they don't want the man in the house. Why should a man be in the house and you got to rely on government assistance? And guys are right with that. Why can't come and live with you and eat off the food stamps and stuff like that? And they'll flip the script and say that's why can't they separate the family? They did this, they did that. If you want to be a family man, if you want to be a family man, family men take care of their responsibilities to make sure their house is covered, to make sure their families is covered. They normally, when you're a husband and wife, maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, if you got one car, you end up getting another car. Because if you working and she's doing certain things or she doing things with the kids, she gonna need something to move around in. So either she gonna take you to work, she gonna keep the car and do what she need to do throughout the day, and then come and pick you up. So eventually you're gonna get another car or two. It's common sense. You will end up getting another car so that she can move around and do the things that she needs to do. See, y'all don't like conversations like this. Y'all want to do that 50-50, which I didn't hear nothing about 50-50 till I started coming on TikTok. If a man or woman is making good money, you don't hear me say 6 figures. I'm just saying making good money to maintain their household. Because the goal is when you have people that tends to fall on hard times financially, if you're making $40,000 a year, don't go out there and try to get you a $300,000 house off no $40,000 a year. If you get a house that's around about $200,000, normally your mortgage is 10% of that $200,000. But now it all depends on where your credit score is at, right? Because if your credit scores are much higher, your interest rate is going to be much lower. So rather than you getting that $200,000 house at 10%, you might can get it at 5%, which basically going to be like $1,000 a month for that mortgage. Now, the higher it is, it could be around about, say, like, we looking past the 6, right? Like 650 somewhere along that line. We looking past that, right? Might be around 3% for that $200,000 house. That's 3% you paying on that $200,000, which would cause your monthly mortgage, say, be around at least about 5 for the $200,000. I'm just using it as examples, family. Okay. But for somebody that's making $40,000, you don't want to try to jump into a $400,000 house. What they doing in the inner city now. If you're making around $40,000, 9 times out of 10, your rent is what? About $1,000 or $1,500 a month. And that's probably for 1 or 2 bedrooms. So if you need a 3 to 4 bedroom house, you're gonna pay anywhere up to about $2,000. Not in all places now. I'm talking about Baltimore City, but not in all places. And some people will try to pay that. Mainly if you're making 40, then your mate making around about 40 or more. But my thing is, why rent something and pay $1,500 or close to $2,000 when you can buy a house and pay your mortgage? You buying your house off. Now your house will become an investment for you, which you can borrow after a while against the house to do other things with. Because you got collateral now. So I'm just sharing this because of what I do. And I have to work with other people because I can only work from where I'm at right here, right? And I started seeing the puzzle. You get me? I started seeing the puzzle. So I come with my piece of the puzzle. You come with your piece. And if it fits, we're gonna work together. You come with your piece. If it fit, we're gonna work together. You come with your piece. If it don't fit, then you might have to back up. No, it ain't that you might. You're going to back up. Because the piece of your puzzle don't fit with this piece. And I started seeing life like that. You have your business, I have my business, we add on to each other. That's what they call a corporation. We begin to grow that corporation of LLCs, of businesses coming together, supporting each other. You continue working your part, I continue working my part. He continue working his part, she continue working her part. Then we become a whole puzzle after a while. But the pieces have to fit. And that's the best example I can give y'all when it comes to mainly business. When it comes to doing the LLC, when it comes to filing for government funding, you got to make sure, and a lot of them won't tell you this, when you run in a business, there are philanthropists, there are people that will support financially your business that's helping to build back up in the community. So strengthening the community, the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope, right? If now I need somebody that knows exactly where the funding is at, and I'm talking about millions, okay? I'm talking about millions. I need somebody that knows the philanthropists or people out there that are putting millions back into the community. That's how they do their tax write-off. And if you look up how many billionaires that don't pay taxes. And it will tell you some of them ain't paid taxes since, say, like 2020. The reason why, because they invest that back into the community so they can do a write-off on it. When you got billions like that, you can do that. When you got millions like that, you can do that. You can earn an investment. If you have $1 million, like if I need $5 million to start rehabbing and revitalizing houses, and we sat down, that's all I need to know. Once I show you everything, the paperwork and everything of what we're doing, and you believe in it, and you want to invest your $5 million. The goal is, how much interest do you want back? And how long what's up, Will? And how long do you want it paid back? You get me? So say like if you put $5 million into the housing program and you say, okay, a year, basically, might say 6 months. I'm just using those as examples to pay you your $5 million and your interest. What's up, bro? Now that's how we work. Then it might take a year, might take 2. But now mind you, you will earn a lot quicker off your interest dealing with somebody like me than what's in the bank. Because they lending your money out anyway. But now you will earn something quicker, more investment-wise, dealing with the housing program. Because now guess what? I can give you that money back. You might say like on that $5 million, you might want 250,000 back, or 300,000, right? You might want that back off of your $5 million. I can't calculate it that fast, but I'm just using this as examples, and you expecting that back with your $5 million, say like within a year. Now I'm talking about rehabbing and revitalizing houses. So you investing into the housing program with the money that you got sitting in the bank. So your investment, you'll earn more with us than you will with that bank. Because your money just sitting there in the bank. It's earning an interest, but it's not a high interest. Right? So when you invest with us, and it takes us to sell, I'm going to use the example of the 30 units, right? We got to sell the 30 units back off for me to pay you your money and your interest. So you probably take the interest and say, take the $5 million and do something else with it. Continue doing it. So you earning money off of you earning interest off your $5 million. Because we making sure you get your interest. And then we'll turn it again. We'll flip it again. That's what they do when they start developing and rehabbing communities or houses. And if you don't have your own collateral to put up, but that person is taking a chance with you as an investor. So this is how Mr. Copeland, when he sit down with business people and possible business partners, sponsors, and investors, because they looking for a way, the money they got sitting, to invest it in something where they can earn a decent interest off it. So whenever I'm presenting something business-wise, you got to make sure everything is lined up. Not only that, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have a business meeting at the building or at the place, right? So you can come and see for yourself where we at. So it's not just me running off at my mouth. I'm actually showing you what I'm doing. This is how I was taught with other people, and this came from people on LinkedIn. If a lot of y'all familiar with LinkedIn, LinkedIn is mostly business people, investors and all that. And what we do, you can go over there and put stuff up. And I post over there too, right? The stuff that I'm doing around in Baltimore City, they already know. And a lot of them will, let you know, this is what I do, Mr. Copeland, just in case you need my services, blah, 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 stuff like that. Because they know I deal with the homeless population. So because I'm dealing with the homeless populations, I'm referring the clients to your business. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get ready to get off anyway. Yeah, because I've been on almost 3 hours. But yeah, family, I don't really be having a topic. And I said that before, family. Because a lot of times I'll pray. And it's like whatever God lays here, I'll begin to talk about it. You know what I mean? And I might start out in one area, then I'll start working my way in another area. And it's not to confuse anybody, but when you come up, and if you don't understand what I'm saying, because you haven't sat around long enough to kind of catch it, then I'll clear things up for you if you just let me know. Because I will start from here. And a lot of times I do not know. I'm telling you, I do not know where the Spirit is going to take me from there. Okay? So you have to bear with me. You got to be patient with me, because once I start out, I don't know. It's like as I go along, like know my power. She works with people with disabilities as well, psychological disabilities, right? So people like that, that's into that field, when they hear me talk, they basically know where I'm at with certain things with clients. Now, I'm not licensed, I'm not certified. So that's not my part, okay? But what I do, I prepare people for them, get them ready for the PRP, for the psychotherapist, for the therapist, the hypnotic therapist, whatever. Even if you're doing holistic work, and if I'm pronouncing that word wrong, please forgive me. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I jack a word up real quick. But if this is your field, and this is the stuff that I would use you, because you are the professional. And most of all, let me try to make this clear. When it comes to the chemical imbalancement within the brain, oh, they going out. Taking my granddaughter out. Shit. They ain't asked me I want to come. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. As long as they have fun and take some pictures. But look, before I get too lost, sometimes, you know, as you get older, stuff just pew, 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 pew. But I love this, y'all. And anytime I come on, I try to keep, I'm gonna say our people. When I say our people, I'm talking about us. But now, if you need my help, because I'm a housing program, and if you if you white, if you Hispanic, I don't care. But if you reach out to strengthening our community, right? Strengthen the community. If you reach out for help, my goal is to help you. I don't care about your ethnic or your race or all of that. If you need help, I'm going to help you. If I can help you, let me put it that way. I done went to the market and brought food for people and took it to them, and it wasn't all black. I'm on sites where they give out food and all that. I'm on sites with like Uncle T, work with the youth. He don't just work with the young men. He work with the young women as well, or the young girls, right? When I say that, I'm talking more like teenagers, right? Uncle T do that. Mayo does it as well. I think he works with the guys and the girls too. Trying to get his name before I pull it out, right? He works with young men. A lot of the people that I deal with in Baltimore City, or I know with nonprofits or with businesses that works with the black community, our black men. But now understand, because I say our black men, anytime you have a child, rather boy or girl, and they are destructive or they need structure in their lives, it's a lot of people in Baltimore City that have programs to help turn their lives around. But see, we hear more about the trauma, the crisis, and it will make things look worse than what it really is. And that's what we as a group of people, or we as human beings, we will focus more on the problems. And when I come on your platform, you know, I'm only going to tell you from what I do here in Baltimore City with the people that I work with, what we're doing to reduce a lot of the madness. And I was trying to explain that the other night to some people, but they kept going into, yeah, because people this, people that, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that. When it's your time, because that's what I had to realize for me. When it's my time, when God called me home, I don't know how I'm going to go. Old age. Somebody might take me down. I don't know. But I accept the fact that one day I'm going to go. Now, if I'm out in public, and be honest with y'all, as a God-fearing man, don't think I might not worry about certain things, because I understand where you at. But I can't let that keep me down. Because the same way God protects me, he protects me when I'm out in the community. And I thank God, to be honest with y'all, for the last, I'm going to say, mainly 30-something years. I'm going to say that. Being out in the community. I thank God I haven't experienced what I so far, knock on wood. I ain't really want to do that. But what I hear a lot of people talk about. And a lot of the people that's in our communities that's going through what they're going through, right? I keep telling y'all, God have a tendency of taking me back. When you might hear me talk about the 5-year-old boy, you might hear me talk about the 10-year-old kid, the 13, 14, 15. Because what God have a tendency of doing with me, mainly when it comes to people, he had me relive certain things. I remember when. So the goal is with me remembering when. Now I got to share with you how, by the grace of God and the strength and the power, and I'm going to say this of the Holy Spirit, I don't care if you like it or not, how my life turned around. So when some people say now, do not get it wrong when you say out your mouth that you did it or you the man or you this and you that, and if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Do not get it wrong. Because some people do recognize wrong is wrong and they'll break it. They'll be like, I'm going to stop this. That's real plain and simple. Some of us going to struggle like heck, you get me, in order to see, God darn, that was simple. So you don't want to knock the process, you get me? Because some of us got to go through what we got to go through. And some of y'all just practice some self-control and discipline in those areas and just kept it real simple. And that kind of amazes somebody like me. That will amaze me when I know you the type of person that can just stop stuff. I'm like, God dang, how you do that? And you just, I might struggle with it before I stop. See, I can say it now because a lot of the stuff I used to do, I don't do. So no more. So now I see the simple side of it. But when I was in it, you could not tell me I was wrong. You could not. You could not. I had to see I was wrong for myself. I had to see. You could not tell me from the way I was taught by the older guys, and I don't knock them, I don't down them, because throughout my life, I met men that did not step out their marriages. I was taught by some old heads during that time. It's a poor rat that had one hole to run in and out of. I remember my aunt. I was like 30-something. I remember my aunt telling me one day, she said, it's okay to have like a relationship outside, but make sure you take care of your home first. And I looked at her like, what? Now, I don't know if I was with my second wife during this time. I mean, my first wife during this time or my second wife. But when she said that to me, I was surprised. And I'm gonna have to end this over here because this my battery get ready to die right here. On my Restream platform. But I remember my aunt telling me that. You know, this was over 30. No, I was in my 30s, if I'm not mistaken. And she told me that. I was like, what? But now, mind you, I'm coming to reality because I was taught by my uncle, her husband. We was in a room like this. And he said, how many women do you think can fill up this room? And I think I said like 40. And he said, that's about how many women I slept with. And y'all know I had to outdo him. I had to outdo him. It seemed like that's what it was back then, a competition thing. I had to make sure. He said about 40. I said about 40. So when he said that, I had to outdo him. If you told me 100 back in the days, I had to outdo you. If you told me you slept with 4, 5 girls a day, I had to at least do 6. I'm telling you, that's where my mindset was at back in the day. And that's not to brag or boast. Because you know who I was really selling cheap? Me. Same way I want to say, like y'all talk about a 304 over here, right? A woman that's using her body. Y'all think men don't do that too? Men don't take his body and put it with all these different women and thinking that it's okay. I had to look at Steve. I had to look at Steve Copeland. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you in your head thinking that it's okay to sleep with this one, that one, this one, that one? And then check this out too. I ain't like condoms. If I really wanted you and you forced me in a sense, I can't get it until I put on a condom, I will wear one. But I guarantee you, before I put that condom on, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to put it in you. Because I just want to feel what it feels like. And stroke a little bit. And then I'll put the condom on. I'm telling you, me. Because the goal is to drop that load anyway. But I want to feel you. Feel your inside. Without that plastic on it. And I know I ain't the only man. You ain't going to catch a lot of men that talk like this about himself. It was times I slept with women and walked away feeling like crap. How many men you hear say that? Did what I did, released myself, and walked away feeling like crap. Whatever I was going through, it did not relieve the pain that I was feeling inside. I was still left with me. Every time, bam, I was left with me. By myself. Nobody around. It's like, what's wrong, Steve? I gotta go get another one to kill this feeling. Then I get with her. Release myself. And once again, I'm left with me. It didn't kill whatever feeling I was trying to run away from inside. So women, stop. Stop. When it comes to a man, you don't have to try to figure him out. You do not have to try to understand him. If he's not expressing himself with you, but he's able to express himself with other men, allow him to do that. Some things you cannot fix. That's an inside job. You can't fix it, just like I can't fix a lot of y'all. That's an inside job. But you got to recognize you the one that needs the help. You see what my finger's going? See, I'm coming back to me. That's why when I sit with men and I sit with women, I want them to be honest about themselves. So as they honest about themselves, right, they venting, they're letting it out. So as they releasing that stress and that pressure, and this is going to die on me. I'm gonna have to go ahead and end this live on my Restream family. I love y'all, Baltimore, and thanks for coming on, because this going